Hello, my name's Luke Stromberg, and I'm going to read my poems in the latest issue of Smartish Pace. Smartish Pace number 27. Thank you to the editors, Stefan in particular, for accepting these poems. Okay, we'll start off with on not attending church. Church, I'm sad to say, is boring. I can admit it now. All that up and down for listless singing over blaring organ music, the pastor straining at the pulpit. It feels a little less than sacred. We sat up in the balcony, my family and I, in a row of aluminum folding chairs most Sundays of my younger years. I felt a sense of duty then that lingers as a guilty feeling when I sleep until 11 on Sunday mornings now. I'll still show up for Christmas Eve or Easter to stick a 20 in the plate and wonder why God's famous grace hasn't swelled my meager heart, but I stay greedy with my life. I asked my dad one time, as he stood shaving by the bathroom mirror, what heaven would be like. He stirred his razor and murky water and told me, "No one really knows, son, but we'll all be together there. You, me, your mom, your brothers, and we'll rejoice and praise God's name forever, knowing that he loves us all." Doesn't that sound wonderful? It sounded a lot like church to me. I pictured the saints in folding chairs or crowding wooden pews, a service lasting in eternity, without a cookout to look forward to, and tried to hide my disappointment, my feeling that there must be more. I've always wanted something more, from church, from work, from love. Too often my life resembles a tasteless meal. I pick away, feeling bored, pretending that I'm satisfied, and leave the table hungry still. But surely it's better to go to church than watch the Sunday shows. Who knows? The hound of heaven may catch me yet. I read red-lettered texts with longing, hoping that it finally will. Meanwhile, the boring churches wait. So this next poem is called "The Chimes at Midnight," and it alludes to Shakespeare's Henry IV plays and Orson Welles' film adaptation of those plays, which is also called "The Chimes at Midnight." It's dedicated to my cousin, Leo James Stromberg. So this is "The Chimes at Midnight" for Leo James Stromberg. You ranted, you raved, you handled life too rough. Bartenders' eyes would glare with homicide. All right, they'd say, I think you've had enough. Thrown out of every bar you stepped inside, and taunted, mocked, subdued by burly cops, you couldn't rouse this fallen world to listen. But like an express train blowing past your stops, you raged, intent upon a holy mission. In record shops or diners, you testify how cheapskates and bouncers would one day be judged. To strangers who'd listen and think, who is this guy? You had your principles and never budged. Stout as a tree stump, bearded and long-haired, a Viking raider out of central casting, the thunderbolt scar on your forehead flared when you would get yourself into a passion. The Lord would rather us be poor than slaves to things, you'd roar. Resist the alarm clock crowd, their fancy homes, their boats, their cars were graves. The well-heeled in the churches were all too proud. We fought, we laughed, we stupefied ourselves with endless tokes and talked delicious nonsense while Neil Young's high and plaintive voice wove spells. Back then, I was still in my innocence and half believed that it was possible to live exempt forever. I was wrong. I found a job and married as people will. You're 6 years gone. It doesn't feel that long. You were a nut, but the nights we had. Yes, we heard the chimes at midnight, my friend. Another round, our motto, for good or bad, and drank as if the night would never end. This poem's called The American Experiment. Even now, a woman threatens to enter this poem. I am at my desk with only the light of my small lamp for company, composing an ode to the American experiment when she rings my bell. There she is, a bottle of Merlot under her arm, wearing a raincoat, heels, and, she claims, nothing else. Oh, how I long to be a serious-minded person. Egypt this week has seen a revolution. I want to bring the revolution here, to this room. This poem demands a free and democratic Luke Stromberg. I will not be ruled by solipsism. Like Christ in the desert, tempted into lust and trifles, I choose instead a higher purpose. Already, my words inspire action. I give the woman cab fare, send her home. I pick up my pen, close my eyes, imagine an end to war, and begin to write it down. But from my rooms, the world looks wet and blurred. The familiar rooftops, the market, the headlights of cars. In my store-bought yellow light, I am small and petty. Mideast unrest, climate change, they bore me, shallow ascetic that I am. And so I rise to look for her taxi in the street lights. Why fight it? This poem belongs to her. And this one's called In Her Bedroom. I envy men who sleep without my trouble in women's bedrooms, covet their hard hearts or luck, their blind hours filled with lithesome girls whose youthful breasts flatten while they lie down on their backs and smile, polite as strangers. Lust is a symptom, I know, and sex no cure for bone-deep boredom. Still, I admire that brand of sinner, smoking on damp sheets beside a long and naked woman I cannot win even in my dreams. The guilt. Just think. No fear, no jealousy, no promises beyond a late night clutch of passion. Nothing but pure pleasure. No thinking, just the rush. They leave their hearts someplace to rot, believe that they're as weightless as a morning fog. But in a woman's bed tonight, I think of all the ways that we could hurt each other. Sodden with the stubborn ethics of sex, I listen to her shower run and worry. Did my whiskers scrape her face again? The careless pleasure seekers stay well hidden, while I lie like a kill on pastel sheets, nestled in pillows and her down comforter, trying to reclaim my sense of self, her lacy curtains hung against the light. Beyond that window, the world is waiting, vast and eager to involve me in its ball games and industry. My car below us, vacant. When she returns, her towel is half unwrapped, her smile tender and intolerable. And then finally, this is Lightning in the Rain. And just like that, it's like nothing happened. As if you dreamed the warm spot she left in your bed, the press of her hand on your arm. The house forgets. From the kitchen, where your voices used to blend and talk, from the rooms that held the medicine of her presence, only a loud, persistent monotone, a silence that seems to have a voice. All joy is just a flash of lightning in the rain. You cannot believe otherwise. And on your way to work, you see on the roadside a dead deer, the asphalt smeared with blood and tire tracks, the animal twisted, its neck bent back so that it stares with no light in its eyes as drivers zip past and almost forget themselves. And you want the clouds to look like smoke from ruins, but they only look like clouds. And the old woman who waits at the intersection for the bus does not know who you are. Thank you.